So today I'm coming up with a video about a very specific subject. Let's say that probably the 90% of you are not interested in, but to the remaining 10% who I know have been wanting for me to record this video, I am finally talking about my IB experience, my subjects, my advice. Do I think it was worth or not? And I am making this video with the hope that it will be helpful to at least one of you, because personally when I was choosing my high school profile in school, I watched a lot of these videos and I wish there were more, because I feel like the IB community is not represented enough on the YouTube. So let's start with the basics. So what is the IB for those of you who don't know? IB stands for International Baccalaureate, and this is basically a high school program which lasts 2 years, and you basically take it usually between the ages of 16 and 18. It is, as the name suggests, an international program which you can take regardless of where you live, and the teaching methods, the material, and the assessment is supposed to be like uniform across all countries and all schools. So in the IB, you get to choose 6 subjects from 6 subject groups. In my school, it was 5 subjects group because we did not have the arts. So the first group is studies in language and literature. The second one is language acquisition. The third one is individuals and societies, so basically like social sciences. The fourth one is experimental sciences, so these are like those sciences, you know, like biology, chemistry, etc. The fifth one is mathematics, and the sixth one is the arts. Another thing is that you either get to choose 3 higher level subjects and then you choose 3 standard level subjects, or if your university requires that, or you're just really passionate about studying, you can choose 4 higher level subjects and 2 standard level subjects. So I think the names are pretty self-explanatory. Higher level subjects, you usually learn all the material from the standard level course, let's say, and additional, let's say, sections of the syllabus. And in the standard level, you just learn the standard knowledge, but I would still say, although standard level sounds not very difficult, you still get to have 4 hours of the subjects weekly, so I think that's a lot. For example, I personally do not like the experimental sciences at all, and I chose biology because I thought it would be the easiest one to study. But I had to take 4 hours of biology every week. You know, it's just part of the program and you have to just sort of go with it. So now that you've chosen your 6 subjects, another part of the IB program, I love the IB program. Another part of the program is that you have to complete this so-called international assessments, which are very unique and specific for certain subjects. So for example, for Polish and English, which were 2 of my subjects, aside from like written work and essays, I had to do oral exams and presentations. For biology, for example, I wrote a very long lab report. Each subject has its own unique specifics. So the international assessments are basically like these experimental works, these sort of essays, let's say, that will count towards your final grade. I think they're supposed to account for like 20% of your final grade, and you write them throughout the whole IB program. You can start writing them in the first year or in the second year, however you feel like, and you can get the help of your teachers, you can ask your friends to read them, so basically you can really polish them up. I think some people would think that this is an annoyance because you have to work towards your final grade all the time. But for me personally, it was nice to have some kind of reassurance that I already did some part of the work before my final exams. Another part of the IB program is TOK, which is an additional subject, let's say, apart from your 6 subjects, and you have to take TOK. In my school, it was 2 hours a week. TOK stands for Theory of Knowledge, and I'm not really sure how to explain that. It's a subject about knowledge and about the process in which humans acquire knowledge and why we believe in what we believe, and it's basically a bunch of bullshit put in pretty phrases and words. While you're doing your 6 subjects and your internal assessments, you also have to care about TOK because it does count toward your final grade, and you also have to do a presentation and an essay in TOK, which, let me just tell you, are not fun. No. The 4th part of the program is the extended essay. So the extended essay is, as the name suggests, a freaking long essay. It has approximately 4,000 words, and if you're not like really sure if that's a lot or not, then it basically was like 12 pages for me of just size 12 times 0 on text. And just as your internal assessments, you're supposed to write it throughout your whole IB experience. But the nice thing about extended essay though is that you can write about, well, almost about anything you want. You choose the subject in which you want to write your extended essay. And the last, but certainly the most annoying part of the IB program is CAS, and it stands for Creativity, Activity, Service. CAS is like sort of these extracurricular activities you have to do outside of school. You have to complete activities in each of the categories, so you have to do some creative work. It can be anything from like doing YouTube, taking cooking classes, drawing, painting, photography. Then you have activity, which is basically sports, any sport you like, and service is basically volunteering. So I think that's all the basic knowledge about the program itself. Obviously, if you're interested in the program, I recommend you read a lot about it online and you read opinions of people who have taken the IB and advice from them. So now for my personal experience with the IB, what subject did I take, what did I do for my extended essay, etc. So my 3 HL subjects were mathematics, economics, and English B, and my standard level subjects were Polish, because I had to take it, like language and literature basically, biology and psychology. These are the subjects I took, and personally I do not think I would change much in the subjects category. Maybe I would consider switching psychology for geography, just because I really did not enjoy psychology that much. But other than that, I think I would still like stick with my subjects choices, because they made it possible for me to pick the university courses I wanted to pick. So now for my extended essay, I did my extended essay in English, and my extended essay topic was... Wait, let me just check that real quick. So my extended essay was written in English B, yes, and the title was The Likeable Murderers, and the research question was, by what means does Donna Tartt attempt to evoke the reader's sympathy towards the killers in The Secret History? So yeah, I wrote my extended essay on my favorite book of all time, which is The Secret History. As I was saying, you can really choose the subject you enjoy, and you can choose the topic you will enjoy writing about. So for me, dissecting my favorite book and writing about it in detail and looking for specific quotes, you know, it wasn't painful, it was just something I chose to do, and it was quite fun, you know, actually. Like, I liked my topic and I like writing about it. So now for another section of the video, and it is about the difficulty of the program. I think there are many like pre-assumptions about the program, and I think many people, especially those who did not take the IB, consider it to be this treacherous, horrible, extremely difficult program in which you can only focus on studying, or you will get bad grades and you cannot party, you cannot go out, you do not have any social life, sleep, etc. It is your personal choice what you want to make out of it, let's say. You can of course ignore all the deadlines and start working very late, and then it's hard. If you put all the work aside and you procrastinate a lot, then the IB will be a very stressful and anxiety-inducing experience. Obviously, it was also stressful for me, and I had a lot of anxiety during the whole program, but because I started doing everything early and I had pretty good organization skills, it was not that hard for me. Throughout my whole experience, I pulled, I think, like 1 all-nighter, but other than that, I usually slept at least 6 hours, sometimes even like 7, 8 if I was lucky. I was usually able to do most of the work on time. I would say that the IB program is difficult, it's demanding of you, and it requires a lot of independent work. But if you're able to manage that, and if you're able to do your own research and stick to deadlines and be disciplined about your studies and about your work, then it's not that hard. But again, if we're putting it to comparison with, for example, every other choice I could make, it's much more difficult, because aside from all the things you have in every program, so the tests and your final exams, you have a lot of additional work. As I said, you have internal assessments, CAS, TOK, extended essay. That is a lot of extra work you will have to do on your own. And this is why I personally do not believe IB is for everyone, and I don't think everyone will handle the IB well. That is why many people, I think, either drop the IB or just have a very unpleasant and stressful experience in high school with it. This is a program I would recommend for people who have good organization skills. You don't really have to have all the like colorful pencils and notebooks, but you do have to be able to organize your schedule, to organize your time well and be efficient about it. You have to be really independent and motivated to finish the program and to actually like do all the work. Write another version of that final essay you already thought you finished. You need to know why you chose the IB and why it is a program for you, because without it, I think it wouldn't be possible to do all of that work without having a specific goal in mind. So now I'm gonna turn into an agony aunt, and I'm gonna talk about my advice. So I cannot yet tell you that I succeeded in the IB, because I don't know yet what my final grades will be, but Generally, I would say throughout the program, and this is not like humble bragging or anything, I just want to give you like an impression about how my advice is actually useful. And yeah, of course you can ignore it if you're doing the IB, and of course you can do it your way. I'm not saying that my way is better than anyone else's. I'm just saying what worked for me and what allowed me to do like well in the IB program. I was always, let's say, a good student. I always like worked very hard towards my grades and everything, and I really did my best in the IB as well. Just putting it out there as a disclaimer. I do not know everything, but this is my personal experience and advice. So the top one tip, which I think you will hear in every video as this, from people who did it and from people who failed to do it, we all will tell you, start your work early. Don't put all the work till the last minute. Don't start your extended essay in the second half of the second year. So most of my internal assessments I did in the summer between year 1 and 2, and also at the beginning of year 2. This was when I really like worked almost every day on writing them. And my second tip is to be prepared to work a lot of your own and not to depend on your teachers, because I think we are all taught at some part in our education to really rely on our teachers and for them to push us forwards, remind us of the deadlines, remind us of all the work we have to do. But if you're not willing to do the work on your own, if you're not willing to dig deeper, research your own stuff, then you're not gonna be able to do all the coursework and even to study for your exams, because what is taught in school is just a small section, let's say, of what you will eventually have to know for the final exams. And I'm not saying this is the fault of the teachers, but I guess wherever you attend the program, you still cannot rely on your teachers completely to like guide you, to take your hand and say you have to do this and you have to do that. No, you have to do that on your own, through mistakes, through trial and error. You have to spend a lot of time on your computer just researching stuff that seem pointless. All of that, what I'm saying, may seem vague, but the advice would be not to rely too much on your teachers. My third tip, and this would be the tip for choosing your subjects, because I had a lot of trouble regarding that matter, which I don't want to get into too much, but my advice would be firstly to take time to choose your subjects. Do not leave that choice till the last second. Really devote the time to, again, research the subjects and maybe borrow some textbooks from your library, or just read the course material and parts of the syllabus you will have to study and knowledge you will have to obtain in the specific subjects. What I'm basically saying is that your impression of what the subject entails may be much different from the reality of the subject. You just really have to know what you're getting yourself into. So yeah, research the subjects if you can. Well, you can, so do that if you still have the option of choosing them. I think this is it for my IB advice. So now for the final part of this video, whether IB is worth it. It depends. It depends on where you want to go to university. If I were to study in Poland and attend university in Poland, I would never have taken the IB, because it's a lot of work, as I said, and I could still get into Polish universities without taking the IB. And obviously I'm not saying you have to take the IB to go to a specific university, but for example, if you plan to study in the UK, that's very, very useful and it is well recognized. Personally, I am glad that I did the IB. I cannot imagine myself not doing the IB in a way. I will repeat that for the 1000th time. It was a lot of work, stress, anxiety, but it was also an incredible and unique learning process for me. I learned so much, and I'm not just saying that in terms of knowledge. I'm talking about those general life skills such as organization skills, independence, research skills, academic writing. These are all skills that I've picked up along the way, and I'm sure they will be very useful to me in the future. What I really like about the program itself is that it puts emphasis not necessarily on the knowledge and on cramming that knowledge. The IB puts emphasis on critical thinking and on approaching knowledge with an open mind. Most importantly, understanding the material you're given, because it is all in a way linked to each other, like sections of the syllabus, and not just, as I said, cramming knowledge, cramming textbooks. In certain subjects you can choose the books you will read, the areas of the subject you want to study. So this is what I appreciate the program for. This is why I chose IB, and also to sum it up, I am glad that I did it. I hope I answered some of your questions and gave you an insight into what the life of the IB student looks like and what was my personal experience with it. If you're even a little bit interested in the program, then you may know that the May 2020 cohort had their final exams cancelled. It may be weird, but for me that kind of sucked, because I put a lot of work into studying for those exams and I felt as if all the time was kind of wasted. I know that it wasn't, but in a way, writing these exams would be this rite of passage for me, and it would be something I could be able to say, hey, yeah, I did it. But life's how it is, the coronavirus still exists. Now I am just waiting for my final results and we'll see. I've been talking for like half an hour now and I'm tired. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask them either in the comments below or in my Instagram, which is @Veronicia. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned some new stuff and maybe it cleared up your mind a bit and gave you a better impression of what the program looks like. Thank you very much for watching and I will see you very soon. Bye!